The USMNT take on Germany in their final friendly before the 2026 World Cup, and they'll be looking to build even more momentum and confidence after an impressive performance against Senegal. The U.S. showed a lot of positive signs in this match, but there are still plenty of questions to answer. Which players strengthen their case for a starting spot? What can we learn from this matchup against Germany? And could this be the game that finally cements Mauricio Pochettino's preferred starting 11 into the World Cup? To break it all down, I brought on my friend Derek Richey from the Straight Red Card. But before we get into that, guys, make sure you hit the like button down below. Hit the hype button if you guys are watching on mobile. Also, don't forget to be subscribed to the channel. We have a lot of World Cup coverage coming up in the next couple weeks you guys are not going to want to miss. So make sure you guys are subscribed and you hit that little bell notification so you guys never miss any of our videos. All right, we're going to have a Germany versus USMNT preview today with our good friend Derek Richey of the Straight Red Card. Derek, how we doing, my friend?
Doing great. Got a earful from some of your viewers the last show, so we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, they were pretty fiery in the comment section, weren't they? Yeah, with you and Adam. I mean, you had some stands forming. One was on your side. There's like a civil war going on between the both of you guys.
I think people just realize that, Stan and I are all right. We're good. We're good.
They are friends, guys. I can confirm.
Yes.
They are friends. I think they're going to do some content together here soon on Derek and Brett's channel. So they're definitely friends.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of that, we did a post game recap of the Senegal game.
Yeah.
And before we get into the Germany game, I want to ask you, because it's so funny. So many people watched that game, the same game we watched, and there was like 100 different takeaways from that game. Some people agreed, disagreed on what happened. Now, it's been, 2 days since that game had taken place, which it seems longer for some reason. How are you feeling 2 days later about that match? Like, are you feeling any different than you did post-game?
Well, Brett and I talked it over, and we're kind of like, okay, that was weird. I mean, people are like, oh, everybody's using lots of subs during the, the prep for the World Cup. I'm like, yeah, but they're using them at like 60 minutes in, 65 minutes in. They're not using but 7 or 8 subs. They're not using 11 subs, and 10 of them come in at halftime. I found that really weird. The more we started thinking about it, we're like, maybe he's got something up his sleeve. It could be that the whole idea here is to keep these legs as fresh as a daisy going into that World Cup, even though there's a substantial amount of time. Well, not substantial, but there's a good amount of time between the last friendly and the World Cup. You'd think the legs would be fresh. So I really don't know what he's got up his sleeve. Just know that nobody else is doing what he's doing. And as far as like looking back, the second half was a lot better than I thought it was. Yeah. And I think that Berhalter was better in the second half. I think Roldan was not very good. I got to watch it a second time. I think Miles Robinson played himself off of any chance of playing any minutes, I hope, in this World Cup. But I think Austin Trusty looked really good. And I think, we saw some things that were positive in the second half, which it couldn't have been easy being thrown on there like that. Chris Brady had a kind of a howler, but generally the second half was a lot better. McKennie was good, a lot better than I thought it was. So, yeah.
Well, besides, now you just mentioned a couple players you said that played better than originally thought, or maybe you just thought more highly of them after the second watch. Was there anyone that played well that you thought played well the first watch, and the second watch you're like, well, maybe they weren't as good as I thought, or maybe they could have been a little bit better?
Not really. I mean, I feel the same way about, our vulnerabilities and Tim Ream, and I know where we're going to be weak. I thought Max Arfson even played really well. I mean, he didn't have to play much defense, so he's good when he's going forward. He's pretty good. So a lot of guys shined here, or didn't shine, but at least were competent or above competent. I thought McKennie had a good game. Balogun he should have scored more goals. Balogun, actually, when you go back and watch the replay, but he scored. Again, I feel the same way about Pepe. I think he had a great game. I think Tillman was exceptional in the second half. I think he won himself a spot in this next game as far as the starting spot goes, maybe. I hope that's what we see. And that's, not that Reyna played bad, played a good 20, 25 minutes, but it was like when we fell back to the mid block, almost everybody fell off a little bit in the first half. So, but I think Tillman showed, he can hold the ball, pass the ball, and steal and play defense. So, I'm not sure. I think that's what I said the first go. I think it's the same thing.
That's good because sometimes you marinate on a little bit. Sometimes you feel a little different after even watching a second time, and motions can play a role into how you feel fresh off the press, right? But as far as this Germany game, right? I mean, it's the last friendly of the cycle. It's a very I won't say that the game itself is important, but I think what could come out of this game is important confidence-wise, right?
Sure.
So with the World Cup starting just a week after this game on Saturday, right? How important is the final friendly for momentum and confidence heading into the World Cup?
Well, this will be one of the best teams we've played since Portugal, since Belgium. I think Germany are kind of in that area. But then again, this is a German team that's won 8 games in a row. They haven't lost since September of last year. This is a team on a roll. This is a team really kind of finding its starting lineup too, trying some new people out like Nathaniel Brown, getting starts in some of the friendlies leading up to this USA friendly. So it'll be really interesting to see what they end up doing. If it's going to continue to be, say, Slaughterback and Ta. So this is like really formidable competition. This is going to be good. Nobody wants to lose the last game before you go into the World Cup, right? So I think both teams will I think Germany will do what they've been doing, play about 60, 65 minutes, bring in 5 or 6 subs at most, I would think. And then we'll probably do something crazy again. I mean, we'll probably do 10 subs at halftime again. I don't see why we wouldn't. I mean, Brett and I thought, well, now we're really got to get serious. Now we got to play, guys, the starting lineup, the starting 11. No joke. Now, the starting 11, 60, 65 minutes, bring in the real 5 or 6 guys you think have a shot at playing in this World Cup. And I don't know if that's what we're going to get. But I do know this. Germany, this is not the Germany of the past. This is a beatable Germany team. Somebody said today, I wouldn't be surprised if they got to a semifinal. I'd be a little surprised by that. I really don't think this is the Germany I remember growing up as a kid. They just don't have those kind of players anymore. But, I mean, they got some young talent. They got some talent coming back from injury, too. Musiala's back. That's going to be really helpful. But they're still relying on some older talent like Schlotterbeck, and Rudiger might play too. And Neuer's been there for God knows how long, but he's still a very capable keeper. So what are we going to see here? We're going to see some serious competition, but a beatable team. This is a beatable Germany.
Okay, so as far as the lineup, right? That was the talk of the Senegal game, was just how weird the situation was, and you touched on that. The 10 subs. I remember I was listening to the episode with the former coaches, and Bruce just said how it like completely takes away all your rhythm when you take out 10 players. It felt very like MLS All-Star-esque, right? Where you do a full substitution at the halfway point.
Yeah.
But with this being the last friendly, I don't know if Poach is doing some 4D chess where he doesn't want to give anything away, or like you said, have all fresh legs. But I do think there's a good chance we will see our starting 11 for the 45 at least, like the most ideal starting, or as close as possible. What changes are you expecting to see in this Germany game, like as far as the starting 11?
So I don't think we're going to see Richards again.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see Adams either. Both were separated from the team in practice today and yesterday. Adams with something small, but they're not going to risk him in this last game. There's no point, which means you'll probably see Berhalter and Tillman start, or Berhalter, McKennie start, in those holding midfield roles. Other than that, I think you're going to see perceivably what would be the starting lineup. And so that means maybe I would guess we're going to see in the back Freeze starting. We will see Ream, probably McKenzie in the middle, and then Freeman again. I do think that's what we're going to see. It worked fine in the last game. It wasn't perfect. Obviously, there's a problem there with Ream's First of all, the one thing that made Ream really good is he never lost the ball much, and he had a really good passing range. If you're not going to bring that and you're going to lose the ball, I don't know what benefit you are to the team right now. Is it possible Trusty starts instead? It is. You could see Trusty, McKenzie, and I think Freeman locked himself in. He was just great.
Spectacular.
And I think you'll see Jedi Dest again out wide as the wingbacks. And in the middle, probably McKennie and Berhalter. And then up top, Pulisic out left, or left attacking midfield out right, Tillman, and then up front, Balogun. So that would be what I would expect, with the possibility that it could be Tillman that gets thrown in there next to Berhalter, and McKennie, who gets to play the 10 spot. Other than that, that's what I would expect.
Yeah. As far as, we talked about this was a pretty contentious topic last time. Adam said that he thinks, I know you were pretty fired up about this, that because it's almost hard to believe that he thinks they're laying the groundwork for Berhalter to be a starter at the World Cup, not just play significant minutes, but he said something like he started 4 of the last 5 games. And obviously Tyler Adams being injured or potentially having a knock is not a good sign. I'm not worried about it yet. I'll be worried about it.
I'll be worried about it if he's not ready for Paraguay. Yeah.
Yes. But I mean, man, it just feels like this could have been spoken into existence. It does feel like there is a chance, greater than no chance, that Berhalter does start.
Well, then you've got to leave either McKennie or Tillman / Reyna. Somebody's got to ride behind. And I think, Reyna's already prime candidate maybe to do that. But either one of Tillman or McKennie got to sit their butt on the bench. I just don't see it happening. In any world do I see Pochettino leaving McKennie or Tillman off this team. He will find a way to get them on the field, which means Berhalter is going to have to be, as long as Adams is healthy, he's going to have to be the reliable guy who's going to put that last 15, 20 minutes in, 10 minutes of the game in, and we know he'll give the effort. So as long as it's not rolled on, I'm fine with Berhalter coming in and closing out those 10, 15 minutes. I do not think there is any – first of all, it's hard enough to read Poach. Poach doesn't send or deliver little package messages that you can read into and then make some sort of solid decision on. He just doesn't do it. Poach does his own thing. He is a wizard at that, like a wizard at being confusing. So he's not going to send a message. And so any message that you're making for yourself might be just a message you're making for yourself. I don't think it's something that makes any sense as long as McKennie and Tillman are on this team. You're going to get rid of 2 guys that are demonstrably better at, giving you something, a big bonus on the pitch against, in the World Cup versus a guy who's extremely reliable, could definitely play in the championship and probably will very soon after this World Cup and be an Aiden Morris style midfielder for a very good championship team. I don't think he's a Premier League player, but he could work himself into a Premier League player. But I don't think as much as Berhalter, as much as Poach loves Berhalter, Poach even said of himself, he's a squad player. He's a roster. There's no debate, he said, that Berhalter should be on this roster. He didn't say there's no debate he should be a starter. Go read the quote from the post game. And had he said there's no doubt he should be a starter, I think we'd all be like, okay, now he sent a message. But he only said he should be on this roster. That's all he said. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do think, I hope they. This sounds kind of like a hater, I guess. I don't dislike him. I hope he plays the best ball of his life for the USMNT this summer. Yeah. But, I just have reservations about him being a reliable guy for, starting. But I do think he could be a solid player off the bench. I do think, like you said, the 15, 20 minutes, he could be solid for that.
I mean, it's not really even so much about whether I don't want him to play or not. It just simply doesn't make any sense when you have Tillman and you have McKennie. And Reyna. I can't figure out why Poach would get rid of any one of those three players and opt to play Berhalter. I think the obvious answer is McKennie, even though it was Tillman who was dropped back to play alongside Roldan. And it didn't look bad, okay? But I just think it makes more sense to keep Tillman closer to the goal. But you could also make the argument it's better for having McKennie closer to the goal. He proved that last game. So I cannot see a world in which Berhalter, he's got great set pieces, but Tillman can lay in a corner too. We've seen a few of those from him. So we'll see what happens. I'd like to see some more Jedi, by the way, now that we're talking about set pieces real quick, take some corners when it's on the right side. He proved he could do that not long ago.
No, I definitely agree. So let me ask you this about Germany specifically, right? How are we expecting the USMNT, or how are you expecting them to handle Germany's high press and possession game? I feel like this is the kind of team that you said that you don't think they're going to make it to like a semifinal or anything likely, right?
I mean, it's possible, but I don't think it's likely.
It's not likely, right? But this is going to be a type of team that you're going to have to beat probably in the quarterfinals if you ever want to make, or not even the quarterfinals, but the round of 16 if you want to make it to quarterfinals, because I had to remind myself that there's more games now. So making it to the quarterfinals means that you won 2 knockout games rather than just 1 now. But you're going to have to play a team that's of this quality, most likely to make it there. They're going to have to play a team like this. What do you want to see? How are you wanting to see USMNT play against like a high possession team that presses a lot like Germany?
I mean, Germany might press for 20 minutes. We haven't seen any team in these friendlies so far leading into the World Cup where a team is going to press any longer than 15, 20 minutes, and then they just fall back into a mid-block, because it's you don't want to exhaust these guys or burn out a leg or have some sort of hammy thing happen. So, and I think that's been the same for us too. So I don't know if that's going to be my real worry, because we're going to press too. In fact, I won't be surprised if we boot it straight out of bounds again, like we did last game, and get all up in their grill right at the beginning if we get to, we win the toss or whatever. Even so, there are players who can high press that could be dangerous. Certainly Nathaniel Brown, but I don't know if he's going to start. I think that's more likely to be Baum instead, or David Brown, excuse me. And do you really want to play that high of a block when you're playing Schlotterbeck back there? I mean, he's a little slow. I mean, we got our own weaknesses with slowness if Ream starts. I don't know. Kimmich getting a little old too. Goretzka, Musiala. I don't really see them doing that. I think they're going to lean into possession. Like, we're just going to outpossess the United States and make them run around like they're chickens with their heads cut off, trying to chase us around. I still think they think they're the better team with the better skill, the better players. I'm not worried about their press so much, honestly. And I don't think if they do it, they're going to do it for very long.
So what exactly do you think we can get out of playing it? Like, I know obviously the team is better, they're talented, but if they're not going to necessarily play the game that we would see them play in the World Cup, right? You're saying like they're not going to press, no one's going to press for 20 minutes, not going to wear themselves out. What exactly can we get from this? Like, what can you see us do against them to where you're like, hey, I feel pretty good about what I saw tonight? I mean, because they're playing their style, but they're not really playing 100%.
No, nobody's going to be playing 100% in that game. I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of the sad thing.
Yeah.
Number one, no one wants to get injured now. Okay. And I think both the coaches are pretty aware they want their guys to be fresh going into the World Cup. So what we're going to see is kind of a battle of like 90%, 80%, effort. They're not going to, we're probably pressed first 15 minutes and then we'll stop to 15, 20 minutes. And then the game will fall into sort of a middle ground where, we'll each have possession. They'll probably have more. And, this could be a grinder. It could be a real grinder. I don't see them giving much away. And I think there is a risk that if we do try to be as advanced with our wing backs, which, felt pretty comfortable last game against a pretty impotent and not very good looking Senegal. I hope they figure something out or they're going to have a rough World Cup. So I do think it's not going to be like that game where we look like we're the better team. But skill-wise, I don't think that's something that you'll see. But I do think it will end up sort of molding or melding into a game where it's kind of back and forth, but it's not frantic. It's not going to be frantic like parts of I think we'll still try to hit them on the counter because they're going to have most of the possession. So you might as well try that, right? But I don't see this as a crazy, frantic, both teams high pressing sort of game. I just don't.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I want you to give me 3 players that you want to see have a significant impact on this game. And not necessarily that they have to, but you just want to see. Like you want to see, because this is the last friendly, you want to see that momentum heading in. And we'll talk about our predictions in a little bit about what we think is going to actually happen. But give me 3 players that you want to see have an impactful game in this match.
I want to see Freeze look really comfortable back there. And if Trusty does play for Ream, which I have a suspicion he may start for Ream, I just want him to continue to have solid play, solid game. So you can see already my priority is defense, right?
Yeah.
I'm not so worried about us being able to put together some offense right now. Last game made me feel better about that. I know Balogun can score. I know what Pepe can do. It looks like Pulisic's back to himself. Weah was good. McKennie was good going forward. Tillman was really good going forward. So I'm not really worried about that. But if Berhalter does have to play because Adams does not, I want to see with whomever his partner is that he looks a little less shaky in the first 10 minutes and kind of settles himself into that because he's going to play in this World Cup. There's no doubt he's going to play. So he just needs to get more comfortable with the big shining lights. So if I had to pick, things I'm concerned about, it's mostly defense to the midfield. I'm fine with it. I'm not even worried about the guys going forward. So Freeze, Trusty, Berhalter.
I would go Matt Freeze because I think he's going to play the full 90 minutes. I think he is. I think that was probably by design to have Brady and Turner get the 45 split.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Freeze is going to get a full test against Germany. So we want to see him obviously have some confidence.
Yep.
So that's number 1 for me. Number 2 would be Pulisic. Now, you like you said, he had a great game against Senegal, right? That's a very promising performance. But I want to see it twice, Derek. I don't want to see a flash in the pan. I want to see consistency. If he does it back to back, then I will believe that he is officially in the form that we expect him to be in, right? So I want to see him do this again, or at least show some. I'm not saying he has to have 2 goal contributions again, but he needs to be an impactful player in the final third. And number 3, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, if history tells us anything, he will play well against Germany.
Yes, exactly. No, I think he will, but I just want to see it, right? I just want to see it. And number 3 is Ballo. Now, the reason why it's Ballo is obviously we know he's been very good this season. He's in good form. I want to see it because we've never had a striker, I think, of his ilk. Like, he is a very dangerous player in the final third, and I just want to see what it looks like when it comes to fruition, what he can do when he's playing a team like Germany, the pressure he can put on them, and just see how he works against a defense like that. Now, is it the best defense in the world? No, but it is a top 10 defense in the world, and I want to see how he kind of goes against them at the international level. So that's probably my 3. And, Pepe was so good too. I think we're going to see Pepe. I would like to see what he does against him in the second half because, I think Ballo is going to start in the first 45 minutes. But Pepe, man, that's like a bonus one because he's just such an underrated playmaker. I mean, he had 2 key passes. He had an assist, and he had one that set up that first goal to Dest. I want to see how he plays against Germany because Pepe plays in the Netherlands, right? And I feel like this is just a different level of competition that he's not normally playing against. So
Sure.
I believe in him. I just want to see how he plays against a team like this.
Okay. No, I mean, I get it. Some of us focus on for me, our perceived weaknesses are, in the back. I'm really concerned about that center back pairing and wondering when does Richards get back? It could be 1-2 games in, right? Yeah. So whatever partnership we do build back there, it needs to start coming together and look at. I don't know if you saw the video of Poach at halftime they had online today. Then he burst into that halftime room after that goal right before halftime. He just laid into them, those dudes. We cannot give up a goal right before halftime. And what were we doing? As the center back, you cannot allow your man behind your back to make a run and not follow. Adams shouldn't have been covering for the center backs. Why was that Adams was the only guy, following the run? I mean, he's right. You got to have eyes in your back of your head when you're a center back. You've got to see that on the side of your eye, too, as the guy's going by you. And so if you're McKenzie, you can't let that happen. So that's where my major concerns are. I think, our offense is good. And I believe we're going to have to win some of these games like 3-1, 3-2. I think we're going to have to score some goals. So I understand your concern too, because I think we're going to get scored on.
You just made my point. That's the thing. It's like, I don't think we're going to win games because our defense saved us. I think it's going to be we have to score goals and hope to God we score more than the opposing team. Yeah. I just don't think we're going to win a game against a big team 1-0. Like I think that's playing with. Remember in 2014 we played Belgium and Tim Howard had the game of his life. He had 16 saves, but we couldn't score. That's the reason we lost. We're gonna have. It's always been our Achilles heel is we don't score like we're supposed to against the teams we need to. So I just feel like the attack. Ballo is the most talented striker we probably have that we've ever had, and we need him to play like it. Pulisic is arguably the most talented player we've ever had. We're gonna need him to play like it. So that's why I say that they have. I want to see the momentum build and show what they have. But also, Matt Freese is the weakest goalkeeper we have ever had in the World Cup since I've been watching, and that's why I think he's so important because he's has some big shoes to fill, and he's going to have to play at a level that maybe we've never seen him play at before.
Yeah, I mean, since Turner. I mean, I don't know. They're comparable in a lot of ways.
They're very comparable, yeah, but they're still very weak. I would say that 2022 Turner, though, might be slightly better because he was in better form than obviously is now.
Confidence.
And confidence, yeah. So I would say that he's slightly better, but this is probably the lowest we've had in a while. I mean, you told me on the phone, you said you'd take Nick Raimondo over what we have now, and he was a third keeper in 14.
I know. I'd take Hanneman. There are a lot of guys I could name that I take right now in an instant. So, but I think everybody's concerns are, that's all well laid out because if our defense doesn't gel, we're going to have to score a crap load of goals. There's just no way around it. I would hope that wouldn't be the case and we could figure out a way to tie things together. But as long as Richards is a big question mark, and it is now Adams added as a smaller question mark. I don't think either of those guys obviously are going to play this weekend. It's going to give some people some opportunities, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a rumor, I think, even saying now, I don't know if we talked about this on the show the other night, but I think there's a rumor floating around that Richards might not even play till Turkey.
Yep.
So he might miss the first 2 group games.
Yep. That's what I heard too. Could miss Paraguay, could miss Australia, and only be there for Turkey. And you can only hope that there's still something to play for, which there probably should be. There better be in that last game versus Turkey, i.e., either we've already made it, which would be the other positive way, or we're already pretty much close to being out of this thing. So there will, regardless, be something to play for because 1 win and 2 losses can still get you through as the third place team. So,
no, for sure. Okay, so that leads me to my final question. And what exactly is your prediction for this game? Like, what do you think? What do you think the score is going to be, and what would you be okay with it being?
I mean, I'd be okay if it's like a 1-0 Germany win.
Yeah.
And we played really well, and we had some great opportunities, but Neuer made some ridiculous saves or whatever. I just don't want to I don't want to be wiped the floor with, number one. And I don't think that's going to happen because I do not think Germany are going to come out and play like, 100% like they're going to play going into a World Cup. I think everybody's nervous. And I think they did an interview with Yildiz today. And he's like, I hate friendlies because at this point, this close to the World Cup, everybody's just worried about getting injured. And some players won't tell you that, but that's true. And so you're not going to go into a tackle the same way you would if it was a World Cup game. It's just not going to happen. So, so I think a low-scoring game, 1-1, 1-0, something like that. I'll take a tie. If we win, even better. That's bonus for me. As long as we look like we are continuing this comfort with playing with 3 in the back. We're fluid 4, whatever you want to call it, Brett. Whatever you want to call it, right? I don't care what you call it. But when you have 3 center backs, I'm sorry, that's 3 in the back. I don't care how fluid the fullback thing is. But last game, we saw the fullbacks at times so far up the pitch. And then the 3 at the back were just doing their job, making everybody feel comfortable about going forward. So if that theme continues and we continue to look comfortable going forward, and I want to see the counter. I'd like what we did in the last game. We actually saw game possession, bam, hit them. Hit them now. Hit them hard. Hit them right away. Don't wait. Don't do Berhalter ball. I mean, Greg Berhalter, Triple G Berhalter ball, gain possession and kick it around the pitch for, 5 minutes. No, gain possession and hit them while they're not set up to stop you. And if we see some of that, we could see some U.S. goals. It would be great if we came out of this like 2-1 win. Would be fabulous. But yeah, I think that's all those different things are acceptable as long as the general theme is there.
What's your gut telling you though? Like what, like that's, you'd be okay with that result, but like, what is your gut? Like what's a score that comes to mind when I asked you your prediction?
1-1. It does. 1-1 comes to mind. It does. So I picked 3 out of the last 4 Kentucky Derby winners. So there's that.
Hell yeah. I got the magic globe, right? Or the crystal ball, right?
Yes. And the last, whatever that is, what's the last horse race of the 3 major horse? There's Kentucky Derby, Belmont Stakes, and I picked the winner of the last race, Napoleon, whatever. And I showed it my parents. They had it on TV. I'm like, okay, I'm betting, putting down some money. Take this horse, had no idea who he was, and he won the second round of the Triple Crown.
We need you to fill out a bracket and put the USMNT as the winner of the World Cup.
$200, baby.
I'll say this, right? I would be a little disappointed if it was a 1-0 result. And the only reason I say that is because obviously if we only concede 1 goal, you're thinking, man, it's a pretty good performance, right? We only leaked in 1 goal. But it would be my concern of what I said earlier about the attack not being able to penetrate and score against a better team, that we're going to have to be able to score. I mean, I want to see the attack really put the other team on their heels and just be dangerous and put them in a bad spot. And I know Manuel Neuer, it might be the best goalkeeper of all time. Neuer, people say that he is. It's him or Buffon. Yeah. He was once. But I still think that you can't really think about it like that, because you're going to have to be better than players who are more talented than you if you want to advance anywhere. This just has to happen. You have to punch above your weight. So I think that if we can score a goal on Germany, I would feel good and hopefully not concede too many. Like if it was 2-1, I'd be a little I wouldn't say I'd be upset, but I wouldn't be over the moon about it, but I wouldn't be disappointed either. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get you. And I think really, generally, the score thing is fine if you want to go by the score. But I again, want to go back to, did we maintain the theme of looking really comfortable and good and connecting passes and countering? Like, if all that's still happening and we lose 1-2, totally cool with it.
Yeah. And I agree with that too. I guess my whole thing is, don't get demolished, don't get deflated, and just make it respectable enough to where you feel like you still have your confidence heading into the Paraguay game, which at the time of this recording is 10 days away.
I know.
How crazy is that?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens. Saturday's going to be fun regardless. We'll see. Clean slate. Anything can happen. And, this is the last friendly of our cycle, man. Isn't that hard to believe? I just cannot believe that it's came by and went that fast.
I'm going to be watching this game with my muti, right? With my mom. So, I mean, she's going to be rooting for the USA, of course. Doesn't matter. She didn't become an American citizen until she was 26. Doesn't matter. It's fine. She's rooting for the USA. She's USA, baby. Now, for both of us, Germany's our second team. So there isn't a split allegiance at all here, baby. Not at all. This is all about USA. We want them to be prepared. Germany's got plenty of World Cups, all right? And they've won plenty. So this is all about USA. So we're going to have a great time watching that together. I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you for coming on. Guys, make sure you go check out his channel, The Straight Red Card. Him and Brett are on every Monday night, and they're going to be on Thursday nights, I'm assuming, starting really soon with the World Cup ramping up. So make sure you guys go check them out.
Yeah, we did a Thursday show last week.
Yeah, so they're back to two a week, right?
2 a week, yeah.
Hour shows that turn into 2.5 hour shows. So you guys, there's a lot of content there. Derek, I appreciate it as always, my friend. Thank you so much for hopping on. We'll see what happens. World Cup's very soon.
Yeah,
guys.
Thanks for having me on, Will. Appreciate
anytime.
it. Always fun. Yep.
Until next time, guys. I will see you all soon.